Chapter 41. I want you. I need you. I love you. On the morning of my 21st birthday, I'm woken by the boy, eager to show me his present. He pulls me out of bed and drags me downstairs. "Come on, you lazy thing," he laughs, hauling me through the kitchen, where Miss Mary has laid out a proper birthday feast. "Morning, sunshine," she greets, opening the back door before we fly past her. "Happy birthday." The boy leads me outside. "What is it?" I ask. "I'll show ya," he says cheerily as he pulls me down the steps to the pool, across the lawn, and toward the trees at the edge of the property. "Look!" he shouts. I follow his gaze, and there, tucked between the lawn and the woods beyond, is a little white cottage that wasn't here the last time I looked. "What on earth is this?" I ask, stepping closer. "Come see," he says, practically bouncing, and opens the door. From the outside, it mirrors the Great White Mansion, like a fitting guest house. But inside, it's been split into 2 rooms with a shared kitchenette. One side is an art studio and office space, the other, a music studio. "What the?" I laugh. "You did this?" He grins. "Sure did. Me and Miss Mary been plotting for ages trying to keep it from you. You like it?" "Yes, of course I do," I say. His face lights up. "It's our spot now. You can do your drawing or writing or whatever, and I'll be messing around with music." "That's amazing," I say, hugging him, overjoyed. "You really did this for me?" "Well, not all by myself," he says. "I got some folks to build it while you were up at college. And look," he gestures to his half of the studio. "Sam helped pick out the gear. It's real space age, ain't it?" He twirls a few knobs, taps a sleek panel, then points to a glass window between our rooms. "I can peek in and see how you're doing. You can wave at me like a little muse." He guffaws. "It's magical," I say, kissing him. "It's the best present I've ever had." He laughs, blushing. "You really like it? I was worried you'd think it was too much. I mean, it's your house." Just then, Miss Mary calls from the garden. "Aw, hell," he says. "We ain't got much time before we gotta leave." He grabs my hand and pulls me back up to the house. "I'm so happy," I say as I sit down for breakfast. "Being 21 is brilliant." Miss Mary laughs. She and the boy chat about their little conspiracy, how fun it was to plan, how hard it was to keep quiet. Then the phone rings. Thinking it's for me, I run to the hallway and answer. It's Red, for the boy. Back in the kitchen, Miss Mary raises a glass and gives a heartfelt speech, tells me she's proud of the woman I've become. I'm touched. She's the person whose opinion means the most to me. The boy re-enters, suddenly downcast. He tells us that after the bust-up in Mr. P's lecture, Red has joined the Marines. "Now what?" he mutters. "What in the hell are we going to do without him?" He scratches his head, lost in thought. But there's no time to dwell. Our ride is here. I still can't believe Red. Why would he do something so extreme? The driver is directed to the luggage by Miss Mary, and I take the boy's hand as we slip into the car. "Everything's going to be okay," I tell him. He shrugs and squeezes my hand. "I'm sure it will, and before we know it, we're off to California." Have you ever thought about the fact that I was born on the 8th day of January, and you were born in the 8th month of the year, 8 days later? He asks me on the plane. "Nope," I say, settling into the seat beside him. "You haven't?" he says, surprised. I kiss him on the nose and laugh. "Why would I? It doesn't matter, does it?" He looks disappointed. "I think numbers mean a lot in life." "Sure," I say. "Mathematics runs through everything in the universe. We are all zeros and ones." I smile at him, trying to indulge him, though it doesn't come naturally. "I don't really care for the meaning of numbers." "That ain't what I mean," he says. After a pause, "Never mind, you don't get it." I ruffle his hair. I don't think I do. I crawl up next to him and catch his eye, doing my best puppy face. "Please forgive me, I'm dumb." I tickle him. He laughs, shaking his head, and takes my hand as we soar into the skies. I can feel how important this is to him, that it means something beyond coincidence. We were both born in 1935, he says, locking eyes with me. "And if you add up 3 plus 5, what do you get?" 8, I say. "Exactly," he grins. 8 is our number. "And what's the number 8 look like?" he asks, raising his brows. The infinity sign?" I say, already guessing where he's headed. Now we're talking, he says, pulling me closer. You and me equals infinity. I put my arm around him, breathe in the sweet scent of his neck, Memphis summer, and kiss him. He looks good today, hair a sun-bleached mess, wearing a short-sleeved striped shirt. Happy birthday, baby, he whispers. The boy reports to set when we arrive, and I check us into the Knickerbocker Hotel, booked by the studio, not a place I would have chosen if it were up to me. And then I'm invited to call at Cary Grant's. Isn't it funny how he's become a sort of uncle over here? He says he's my representative from the British Embassy, then chortles and asks if I'd like a drink. I thank him when he hands me the tumbler, an old-fashioned, he says with a wink. He gestures to the seating arrangement by the pool, and we sit down on either side of a green cast-iron table. I take a sip and glance toward the garden. You really are remarkably pretty, he says. I hope you don't mind me saying so. I don't mind in the slightest. It's wonderful to be told one is pretty or beautiful. I'm getting used to it now, and I suspect that one day, when people stop telling me, I'll miss it. You ought to be in the movies, he says. I mean it. He gets up as Betsy arrives and goes to greet her. Betsy smiles and walks over to me. Hello, darling, she says warmly. You really should, you know. Beautiful bone structure, good posture, elegant movement, charisma, and that lovely, soft transatlantic voice. She holds my hands in hers, arms outstretched as though assessing me. I'm a little shy, so I say nothing. You'd be terrific, Mr. Grant agrees. I can set you up for a screen test with the studio. I start to sweat because I don't want to be in the movies. I did when I was a girl, but now I feel like I already live inside the movies. My life is the adventure. I'm afraid that if I tried actually being in them, it might bring a curse, something strange and heavy I don't know how to name. I like my life as it is, I explain. They both shake their heads in amused disbelief. How's the boy? Cary asks. He seems to be going from strength to strength. I tell them all about it. I stay for dinner. Mr. Grant sits at the head of the table, lost in thought, and says to no one and everyone, remarkable, quite remarkable. Then he lifts his glass in a toast to health and happiness. When the boy returns from set, I kiss him. I bought you something today. Baby, you really shouldn't have, he says, already launching into tales from the day. When he finishes, he unwraps the gift and reads the title aloud, Chero's Book of Numbers. Yeah, I say. You said you were fascinated by the meaning of numbers, and then I happened upon this, and something told me you might enjoy it. He smiles. So you do listen to me after all? Occasionally, I reply. I toss the book on the bed. Let's get dirty before we wash off our sins and go out to dinner, I grin. And before you can count to 8, the boy, really, and I mean really, loves to cuddle afterwards. It's one of his most endearing traits. He likes to lie about and talk just as much as I do. For all your alpha maleness, he says, roaring with laughter, I love how girly you really are, a silly little sausage, a gigglin' wiggly lil daisy. He starts nosing at my neck. I start batting him away. I am not manly. You got a bossy streak worse than the Colonel's. No wonder he's half scared of you. He guffaws. I ask if he still prefers the sexy girls from Vegas. I'm too vulnerable to hear what I assume will be the honest answer. I've felt bad about that dumb comment ever since, he says. I was hoping you'd forgotten it. He pulls me close. I rest my head on his chest. I've been thinking about it, he says quietly. Like, do I really like that look, or is it just something I associate with easy thrills? And I figured, it ain't real. You are. He touches my cheek. You don't gotta change nothing. I'll love you as you are till the end of time. Don't care if one day you get all saggy and wrinkled and stubborn. He grins, meeting my gaze. The Vegas girls, that kind of glamour, it's from a different part of my head. I don't know how to say it right. I say nothing. There's you, and then there's that other type, the showgirls, the wild ones, the lipstick smearin', skirt hikin' types. I like 'em too. But they're just the shadows. You're the origin, the real thing. The one I go to for life. They're for the little deaths. Then he turns to me. I ought to ask you the same. 'Bout me and that boy Topper, but thing is, I don't think I can handle the answer. Not just yet, so maybe some other time. He wraps himself around me and strokes my hair. You get it? He murmurs. Yes, I reply quietly. They're just pastime. You're inside my soul. Jean and Junior Smith are out here now too, and although I find them irritating on a superficial level, their presence juvenile, their chatter incessant, I understand why they're here. They soothe the boy. They help ease his nerves in the strange new world of Hollywood. Still, they behave like infants whenever we go out together. Just this past Saturday, we went to Long Beach Amusement Park, and I spent the entire outing wishing I could leave them to it. In a way, I'm glad school is about to start. I keep asking if it's all right for me to go, and the boy keeps asking me to stay, just a little while longer. He says his scatterbox brain feels more ordered when I'm near, that everything seems clearer with me around, but August will soon turn to September, and then I'll have to be back at school. That's non-negotiable. One night, he asks if we shouldn't just get married. That way, he says, I wouldn't have to finish my degree. He could take care of me. We could be together all the time. How on earth does that make sense to you? I ask, raising an eyebrow. I'm richer than God. I don't have to do anything I don't want to. He laughs. I keep forgetting that. I'm studying because I enjoy it, I tell him. The same way you enjoy making music. Or learning how to act in films. You like it when your mind's engaged? He shrugs. I just want you close is all. That a crime? I ask him if he actually wants to be married. He doesn't know. He only knows he doesn't want to lose me. I don't want to be married, I tell him, but I'll stay close, I promise, as long as we treat each other with kindness and respect. That's the deal. That's what love is. It's about feeding one another in the right ways, not owning each other. He considers thoughtfully. Says he read something like that in The Prophet. I spend a few more days with him, go with him to set, wait while he's called into pre-production meetings, fittings, and interviews. I commend him for his professionalism. He asks if I'll drive us back into town. Says he wants to be alone with me, just us. He'll get Junior and Jean to take the other car. I need to be silly with you for a while, he says. Shake off all this adult stuff. Be like we were, just us two, acting dumb, making each other laugh. Before you leave for school. He's afraid everything's changing, that it already has, that the future is swallowing us faster than we can hold on to what's real. I take his hand, guide him to the car, toss his keys to the other car to Jean and Junior without explanation. Then I drive us back to the hotel. We laugh, we tell stories, we play at being who we used to be before all this. We put on our brave faces, rehearsing the part of two people untouched by the machinery now spinning around him. We talk about the future, his first film, The Road Ahead, as if the yellow brick road still leads somewhere safe. But I can already see the smoke rising from behind the curtain. I pour all my love into him, trying to hold the real boy in place before he disappears into his own reflection, and beneath the smiles and the warmth, a quiet hatred brews, not of him, but of America herself. Because she is taking him from me, turning him into an emblem, a product, a fever dream. She is the siren and the slaughterhouse, dressing up hunger as hope. The American dream is devouring its own children, gilding the rot with light. I drive on, watching the horizon blur, knowing he's halfway gone already, claimed by the story this country tells about itself. We change hotels. Now we're at the Beverly Wilshire, grander, quieter, more discreet. The boys have arrived, Scotty, DJ, and Bill. I ask again if it's all right for me to leave for school. No, he says simply. I need you to stay. I join him for a few days of soundtrack recording on the Fox soundstage. I sit quietly in the back, watching him work, focused, exacting, professional. Then I tell him I have to go. I'm scared, he admits. You can call me anytime, I tell him. I'll be here whenever you need me, I say. I'll see you in December. And I'll think of you every minute of every day until then, he replies. I know the truth. Once filming begins, I'll fade quietly to the edges of his world, stored somewhere just off screen, and I know he'll be having the time of his life because he's come prepared, armed with talent, charm, and the kind of innocence America loves to eat alive. He's 21, distractible, brilliant. It makes me smile, and it terrifies me. I watch him walk away across the lot, sunlight cutting through the haze, still the boy I love, yet already being rewritten into the story America tells about herself, the one that turns her sons into symbols and feeds on what remains. Chapter 42, Anything That's Part of You. Topper has been in Europe visiting friends from school. He's sent postcards from everywhere he's passed through: Athens, the islands, Florence, the Cinque Terre, Monte Carlo, Nice, and Antibes. He writes that he's happy to be back and that he needs to see me in Pennsylvania. Tilly's gone abroad for the semester, studying modern languages at Newnham College, Cambridge. He arrives the day after I catch him on the phone. He rushes in and hugs me tightly as I open the door. "I'm so sorry," he says, burying his face in my hair. I laugh in surprise. "Why on earth are you sorry? Come here." He takes my hand and leads me into the drawing room. "I have a few things to tell you." He looks up, then down again. I've never seen him like this. "What's wrong?" I ask. "Are you crying?" I sit beside him and wrap an arm around his shoulders. "I'm so sorry," he says again. "I thought I was better than this." Takes my hands, cold and trembling. "Darling." I stroke his hair and gently turn his face toward mine. "Just tell me. I'm sure it's not that bad." "It is," he says, starting to cry again. Then he gathers himself. "Didn't think I was the sort to cry in front of a girl. I'm sorry for losing face." "You don't have to apologize," I say. "It's better out than in." I wipe a tear from his cheek. He says I'm too good for him. I assure him I'm not. Then he tells me about his summer, about the girl in Monte Carlo, the night he missed me the most, how he let himself be weak. My heart breaks for him. He's so honorable, and I've been so bad to him so many times. I tell him it's okay, that we'll figure it out. I ask if he wants her or me. "You," he says. I knew all along it wasn't what I wanted. I was just vulnerable. I tell him he's human and young, and that it's okay. All he has to do is decide whether he still wants me or just as a friend. "I love you," I say. He's relieved. He stays the week, open, playful, different somehow. I love him more for it. In California, the boy is dating Natalie Wood and hanging out with young stars. I see pictures of him kissing his pretty co-star, Deborah Paget. Still, when he sends me his latest records, he writes that all the singles are for me. He asks me to come home for his homecoming performance in Tupelo at the end of September. He wants me there, along with Barbara, his current Memphis girlfriend, who's independent, without illusion, and far too sensible to lose herself in all this. I tell him I can't come. I have too much coursework. He rings me. "It's important," he says. "I want you to see Tupelo. It's a milestone. You'll be all right without me." "It ain't about that. It's about you and me." I don't know why I don't go. I just don't want to. I can't quite explain why it suddenly feels tired. He's always been like this, dating others, being photographed, playing the game. Maybe it's Topper. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I hang up and walk to the library. Tears spill down my cheeks. I look up at the sky and try to will them to stop. Instead of working, I open the Prophet, the chapters on love, on marriage. I try to understand myself, to work out what holds the boy and me together across all this distance. I try to be grateful, to accept it for what it is, to not disappear inside it. I read aloud, "You were born together, and together you shall be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, you shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls." I wonder what draws me to Topper, even as I carry this consuming love for the boy. I wonder which one I need more. I know which one needs me more. I know which one is more lost and which one is a redwood rooted in the forest. On the walk back, I look up at the moon and imagine the boy looking down. I know I need space. For now. When I arrive back at the apartment, I ring him. I wish him luck for tomorrow. I tell him not to be nervous, that I'll see him in December. Do you still love me? He asks. Of course. Baby, come home soon, he says. Ain't nothing but darkness without you. I'll be there before you know it. The boy calls again in October. Says he's been in a fight, it wasn't his fault, and the charges have been dismissed. Says his friend June from Biloxi is visiting him in Memphis. Says the scrutiny is getting too intense. He's being mobbed everywhere. He wants to come see me, but thinks it would be too much for me. A few days later, he asks if I'll come to New York for the weekend. Says they'll pick me up in Pennsylvania on the way. I miss him, so I agree. I probably should have stayed home. I trail after him, hotel to rehearsal, meeting to press call. He's getting so good at all of it. I keep telling him how dignified and graceful and funny he is to watch. In one interview, when asked about corrupting the youth of America, he says, "My Bible tells me what a man sows, he's gon' reap. And if I'm sowing wickedness, it's gon' catch up with me. If I really thought I was bad for people, I'd go back to driving a truck. And I mean that." I smile at him. He winks back. I go with him to a March of Dimes publicity event. We are both inoculated with the new Salk polio vaccine. He's photographed. I hide behind a curtain. He says he wants me out there with him, says he doesn't care about the colonel's plan. But I do. I don't want scrutiny or to become anyone other than myself. So I pull back. And he has to let go, stand in the light fantastic on his own. Deep down, I know he wants it that way too. I stay with him, supporting him from behind the scenes. I make it clear, no photographs, no mentions. Instead, I tell him he's magnificent after he tapes his second Ed Sullivan Show appearance. I sit quietly as he films a new ending for the Reno brothers, now retitled Love Me Tender after the song he sings in it. At night, I kiss him and hold him so he can sleep. The colonel begins asking what I think about things, starts treating me like a person. It's almost as if he's grown fond of me. By Tuesday, we're informed he's sold more than 10 million singles. I'm proud of him for living up to his potential, but it has nothing to do with us and nothing at all to do with the real world. I feel myself fading further into the background. That's all right. I've no desire to be up front, not in that arena, not in that mess. The colonel books a car to take me back to Bryn Mawr. The boy and his growing gang head to Memphis by train. I kiss him goodbye. I feel like a prop. He cries and says, "You ain't no prop to me, baby. Don't ever think that." But when he's back in Memphis, Natalie Wood flies in. He's taking her all over town. I walk to the library during the day. When I walk back home at night, I glance up and flip The Man in the Moon, the bird. I don't pick up when the boy calls the first week of November. When I regret being childish and finally ring the house, Mrs. P tells me he's gone to Vegas with his cousin Jean. I don't see his film when it opens. I'm not in the mood. Miss Mary calls. Says the studio sent a copy of the film to the house. That's good, I say. You can watch it when you're home in December, she says. No, thank you, I reply. You don't want to see it? Miss Mary doesn't understand. No. You can return it when you've watched it. I'll do no such thing, she says. You need perspective. I can't wait to see you, I tell her. I'm excited to spend Christmas with you. I spend Thanksgiving with Topper's family in Manhattan. His mother doesn't quite know what to make of me, but his father finds me amusing and laughs at everything I say. It's obvious why Topper has brought me here. He has honorable intentions, and he needs his parents to understand why. I've seen his father pat him on the back and give him the nod of approval. Me just being pretty is enough to convince him we're a match. But his mother, she's of a different caliber entirely. She takes nothing lightly, and why should she? She's his mother, after all, and here to protect her boy. Mrs. Montgomery approves of the way I treat her son, the way I dress, my manners, the college I attend, my chosen subject, my friends. She moves in the same circle as Tilly and Cornelia's families, but knows nothing of my background, and that unsettles her. God forbid I'm here to entrap her son for his wealth. She doesn't know that I'm the only grandchild of George Lionel, or who my father is, and I find it all rather amusing. So does Topper, who could help her along by telling her that I'm the sole heir to one of the largest fortunes in America, and that my father is a duke, but he has no intention of doing so. He doesn't want to make it easy on his mother, and neither do I. I don't feel any urge to prove myself to her. Why shouldn't she be the one to assure me she won't turn into one of those nightmarish mothers-in-law one hears so much about? Still, I make a point of being my best self, thoughtful, witty, cultured. I talk with her about art and travel, and little by little she begins to enjoy my company for what it is, regardless of the mystery of my pedigree. By the end of the week, she seems resigned, accepting that I'm good enough for her son after all, and perhaps remembering that he's never once given her reason to doubt his judgment. Each morning, Topper and I make a pact. One of us must do something to expand the other's horizon. A gesture, a surprise, a gift, a small adventure. Sometimes it's a new lunch spot, a book, a walk in the park, a visit to the Met. The week flies by, and it's clear to everyone that we're well suited, that we bring out each other's best sides. We're a team, bound by an easy tenderness and genuine care for one another's well-being. I wonder why I insist on keeping the boy in my life. Topper seems to understand. We never discuss it, and he never asks. It's as if he believes it will run its course, and that it has nothing to do with us. I let the guilt simmer quietly beneath the surface. It's mine to manage and work out, not his. When I leave, Mrs. Montgomery embraces me with unexpected warmth and thanks me for looking after her son so well. I return her affection and, once back in Memphis, write a thank you note on my bespoke Smithson stationery, embossed with my personal details, leaving Mrs. Montgomery room to do the research about me for herself. I know she'll sleep soundly at last. The thought makes me laugh aloud. Poor Mrs. Montgomery, what we dared put her through simply to prove a youthful idealist's point. When I look back on that Thanksgiving, it feels picture perfect. Topper and I racing around New York, laughing, linking arms in the park, alive in the crisp air. Miss Mary steps out onto the gravel drive. I missed you endlessly, I say, stepping from the car to embrace her. I brought you a trunk full of presents from Saks. The boy's been round, Miss Mary says. He left you a note in the library. I tell her I don't immediately care. Miss Birdie, you two go way back. I don't want drama between you, she says. You need each other. The driver carries the luggage and presents into the hall. It gives me a break from discussing the boy any further, at least for now. I read the note he scrawled on my notepad and left on my desk. It has an oily stain, which I take to mean Miss Mary must have fed him something greasy in the kitchen. It's a cheery note, no mention of Natalie Wood, no mention of Vegas girls, no mention of me not returning his calls for a month. Just a breezy update, personal appearances, meeting Liberace in Vegas, the premiere of Love Me Tender, and showing Memphis to his new Hollywood pal, Nick, the one who used to run with James Dean, which I assume is the appeal. He's been to Louisville for an appearance and to see his grandfather, Jesse. Says it felt strange after so long, but he'll tell me all about it when we see each other face to face. Says he can't wait. He can wait, I tell Miss Mary. Then I ring up Mabel, and we agree to meet downtown for a cherry pop and Christmas shopping. Mabel is on top form. I'm engaged, she announces, smiling broadly as I grab her hand and inspect the diamond on her ring finger. I can see that. Congratulations. I hug her and do all the things one is supposed to when a girl gets engaged. Who's the lucky man? I ask. Bingham, of course, you silly woman, she says, as if I should have known all along. I'm so sorry, I sigh. My head's in the clouds, obviously. She tells me everything, how they've grown into what she calls a mature love, how sweet he is behind that awful facade, their plans, their hopes, their domestic dreams. We shop for Christmas presents and try on wedding dresses, her seriously, me for fun. We build up an appetite and head to lunch. Outside the cafe, I bump into Sam, who's just popped out of the studio to get provisions for his artists. He says he's happy to see me and tells me to swing by later. I can listen in on Carl Perkins' recording session. I tell him I will. After lunch, I drop off Mabel for her hair appointment. I kiss her goodbye and drive to Union Avenue.